Ladies and gentlemen,
We're back.
we're back for some Tumbbad.
Okay.
Tumbbad thoughts, our hot take and hot review.
Bad.
What did you guys
Wow.
think?
Very, very awesome practical effects. That's for sure.
Right now,
And
Sadie,
cinematography.
having never seen this movie,
yeah, Sadie, what did you
Sadie's
think?
thoughts.
What are your
give us your
initial
thoughts.
It
Just-
was a really good horror movie. Like it especially at the beginning, it took the time to build suspense and to really develop the story.
Okay.
And it didn't, like, obviously you had the jump scares with the grandmother and everything, but I like that the movie actually showed a lot of restraint in that you don't actually go into like the womb of the goddess and meet Hastar until like halfway through the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it builds a lot of suspense and tension into getting to that point and wondering like, okay, like how is it getting this money?
Right.
Yep.
You know, and so it builds on the mystery until you get there or whatever.
Right.
And
You're like, what's going on? Kind
yeah,
Yep.
and then so I thought that was really well done. The cinematography was awesome. There were some really
Oh,
cool
yeah,
shots
that
that
stands
just
out.
Yeah.
of for sure.
really interesting. It was kind of interesting, like a good. It felt kind of like a fairy tale in the sense that
Yep.
like a lot of fairy tales are cautionary tales
Yeah.
of, you know.
Kind of greed.
This one on
All
Yeah,
about greed.
and this
Yeah.
is like a
Let's
cautionary
focus.
tale on
Very
greed.
interesting.
You know, if the more greedy you are, the more repercussions there will be for that. Like, it not even just with like bringing in more of the little dough cookie things or whatever.
Yeah.
But also in like, you know, grab as many coins as you can, but you're not gonna get all of them or you're gonna
Yep.
die. You know, so
Yep.
just grab a few and then get out of there.
Yep.
So if you're too greedy, you'll die. But if you're not greedy enough, you won't be there in the first place.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yep.
What did you guys think?
Yeah.
I mean, watching it a second time, I couldn't even remember some of the parts. That,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it had
And
been
then
a
I was
long-
like,
it had
I
been
remember the
a long
womb.
time.
Like, that's just
The womb is so
iconically
iconic.
massive.
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
How could you forget the womb?
Yeah, Ben, how did
I
you
know.
forget that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I remember that.
When I
part.
think of this movie, I think of that womb.
Yeah.
Oh
It
my
just.
God.
It
I
was-
forgot about the
sticks
ending.
in your
cool.
I
memory.
couldn't remember what happened at the end. I was like, I don't remember.
I
Yeah.
thought that was really interesting how the dad was like, "Here, take the money," and the kid was like, "No." So I'm hoping that'll
he
break.
rejected greed.
It'll
Yeah.
break generational
Yeah.
draw to greed.
Because
and
you
to
saw
the
like
money.
what that greed
Yep.
did to his
does
father,
to
yeah.
you and what it I think
Yep.
probably what it could do to him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
so
And I
It was
I-
rubbing off on him already, but then there's
Yeah.
chance because he's young to like kind of revert that.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
but maybe not because the main character at the beginning saw his grandmother as a cursed monster.
I
and
know.
then he
like,
came
his
back
kid,
as
yeah,
an
he still
adult.
came back
That's true.
later. He.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Yeah.
It's interesting.
The practical effects are just amazingly good in this movie. I
incredible.
feel like
For
They're
sure.
disgusting.
And
Yeah.
I really like this one guy's mustache. Shohum Shah.
you
Oh,
did
yeah.
like
Shohum
his
Shah.
mustache.
What was he in? And have we
Oh,
seen him
yeah,
in a
what-
movie?
Oh
I
yeah,
think
we'll see.
the
What?
one more thing I will say is
We have
not.
so
Tumbbad.
far.
So we're not wrong.
Yeah, I did.
It wasn't our fault. We didn't
oh,
know.
yeah, we haven't seen him in anything else.
Innocent until
Wow.
proven guilty.
the special effects kind of reminded me. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes.
I haven't yet,
Yeah.
but
yes.
But it
I
felt a
think
lot
you
like
can see that.
Guillermo del Toro
Yes,
style
yes.
when it comes
Sure.
to
That's a
like,
great
special effects in his
comparison. Yeah, that's a great
imagination.
comparison.
So I thought that was
Yeah.
really interesting and really cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, the acting was really good. The acting was stellar.
Right.
yep.
I liked it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked this movie. I thought
It
a
was
good movie.
it kept you good with like entertained with really good twists and turns
Yeah.
as well. So
I also like how they split it into 3 parts. And,
Yeah.
like, it was interesting how it fit with what was going on in history too, because like the depression and then India's freedom was that last part, and like how it kind of you could see the setting
Right.
change around him, but he was the same where he was just greedy all the way through, just like
Yeah.
trying to just going back to that source of money and
And just not changing.
yeah, never
Yeah.
changing.
Totally.
And yeah, it was just I thought
well, it was interesting,
all
like
around
when
really
you know,
interesting.
when the world is so full of like insecurity, you know,
Mhm.
and like even America going through this Great Depression, where like they're all starving to death, you
Yeah.
know, and none of them have money either. and then you have this well of wealth that you can always come back to. Like, you know,
Right.
it's you
Wouldn't
could
you?
definitely see
Why
the
wouldn't you? Yeah.
temptation.
Yeah.
For sure.
So there's like this balance between greed and then just survival.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yep.
And I thought they played it well too, where it wasn't just him like just trying to survive and I had to. It was like he kind of maybe started that way and then he wanted the money. I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting because it was
Yeah.
like he had a lot, and he had that huge chest of gold.
yeah.
And he was like, "You
Well, it's
sound
just
like
the
my
more
mother."
the more you get, the more you want.
Yeah.
And like
Right.
you know, it's never enough.
Exactly. That's the greed part. It's just
Yeah.
that empty void, the empty
Yeah.
womb.
Yeah, and you
Yep.
could see like in all areas of his life with like addiction and women, you
Yeah.
know, of like
Yeah.
one,
It was
one-
never
his
enough.
wife isn't enough,
Yep.
you
Yeah.
know, being sober isn't enough. So yeah, I thought that was interesting.
And you could tell he was still just super depressed, even though he had all that money. He just seemed like, I don't know, he seemed like,
Oh, for
none of
sure,
it was
yeah.
enough. And then
Yeah.
he just kept going back. And it's like,
Mhm.
man, it's a cautionary tale
Yeah.
about greed and what it can do to you. So
Yeah, it's kind of cool because it's like I'm sure this was a lower budget, but it's
Yeah.
far better than a lot of big budget like CGI fest because
Totally.
this is
Oh,
like
yeah.
absolutely
So much
like
better.
natural
Yeah.
effects and like truly disturbing.
like practical effects. Well, I think
Yeah.
the monsters are CGI.
Yeah,
I think it was a
but-
combo.
Well,
Yeah,
but like
and then at the
the
beginning-
grandma at
Yeah.
the beginning,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shot
that
of
was-
the
No,
tree
that was
growing out of her,
nasty.
like
Oh man.
that was insane.
That
Like,
was, there
how
were
did they
some
do that?
crazy, memorable. I like that's
Yeah.
what I think we can take away from
Yeah.
this one. Like you're not gonna forget some of the shots that
No,
you've seen.
that's
in
the
this
beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Never
an
gonna
interesting thing
forget that
too. Of like,
entrance into the
Into
for the
the
first
the-
time. Yeah.
if you're bitten, then you
Oh.
can live forever, and you only
Yeah.
need to eat and sleep. And so it's like
True.
you'd think, oh, that's a great thing, but it's actually a curse. It's
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
like in the West with like vampires of like you know you're an immortal as a vampire, but you need to drink the blood of others, and you can't go outside during the daylight. Like
Yep.
you know, it's to some it would be like, oh, this is great. You would think initially, but then in truth, it's a curse.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
how humans are meant to live.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
what do we rate it?
Yeah, what are
let's
our
get to
ratings?
the
I'm trying to remember my
ratings.
last. I'm gonna look up.
We all
Uh,
rated it a 3.5.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
all of our ratings, I just checked.
Oh.
Okay.
So Sadie,
I-
being the most fresh, what would you?
Yeah.
rate it?
What's your
Wow.
rating out of 5 stars?
Probably 4.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
There you go.
Maybe all the knocking children around could bring it down, but I think that was the point. I don't think they weren't really supposed to be
They weren't condoning
sympathetic
it.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah, I might tick mine up to a 4 as
Yeah,
well.
I'm really
Yeah.
tempted, honestly.
I think
it's
I'm
like,
gonna- I think I'll
It's
stick
just
at
so
a
well
3.5.
done.
I really liked it. It is a slow burn.
it is pretty slow, yeah.
And
But it's
the
an hour and
gore,
40
the
minutes,
gore
which is
kind of, yeah, the gore.
Yeah, there was
just,
a lot of body.
It was
horror.
a little bit too
it's
much
not
for me at
enjoyable to
points.
watch. That's
No,
Yeah,
but
it's not a
good
fun
movie.
watch, but
It's
it's
a
a
good
good
movie.
It is
though.
a
not
Yeah,
enjoyable.
it's artistic, and I
It
like
is
that.
artistic, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's also kind of the point of like
Yeah.
watching somebody fall from grace and be consumed by greed is not a pleasant experience, especially when you have like movies glorifying, like Wolf of Wall Street, like glorifying, you know,
The other
greed
side,
and,
yep.
and
Yeah,
sleaziness
yeah.
to the extreme.
Totally.
I kind of like that this shows the other side to that of like, yeah, it's not all
Yeah, it's not
Yep.
all
glitz
fun
and glamour.
games.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
well, guys, thank you for watching. Like
Yeah.
and subscribe, and watch our next video.
We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.